This meeting is
Started. Dude, this camera's whack, man. Where's the other one?
I don't know. I'm learning that too.
Oh, the other camera. Huh? It's just they're fixing it. Yeah.
Matt, what's up?
I know it is. Yo, look at that swagger.
It's on, walk out there.
Oof, it's cold.
Change your face. No, I'm just kidding. Go on. Yeah, like start high.
What up, girl? Oh.
Hey guys.
Good morning.
Make sure we take some good notes. Note takers and money makers. Right?
Wow, I feel like having a cell copy.
Brian, it looks like we almost got the same shirt on, man. Oh, wait, never mind. You got the AIO on. I thought it was blue at first.
What's going on?
There's the gang. There's the gang. There we are. What's up, C Mama?
What up, Mace? Big money.
You know how it goes.
You're gonna have a big day today?
You know it. Come on. You know we got some referrals on.
Yeah.
Right. I see you with the green. That's the shirt of money right there.
Hey, I wore it for you, Moolah.
You gotta watch if his pit starts sweating. It's gonna leak right through.
Man, I wore an undershirt just in case. Don't worry. Thinking ahead.
I couldn't tell if you started lifting or if that's a shirt, you cheater.
I was listening. Thanks for noticing. Did you call in?
Then what? He didn't answer me.
We'll give it another minute or so.
I left the voicemail.
Wait, Rob, he's supposed to be in
He's in PT.
Oh, he just texted me. He said we are supposed to be doing sales tax, so I just sent him a text. I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably PT on 1:30.
Oh, hi, Steven. What are you doing? You're just so,
In the waiting room.
is he the route?
Should be good to go.
Yeah,
Good to go?
You're good to
I
go.
think so.
Christina.
Let's do
All
it.
right. Well, stragglers get in late then. Okay. Good morning, guys. I'm excited to see you all again this morning so soon. What a blessing to start off the Friday, right? So of course I have a feeling like you guys know what we're doing today. But the only thing I really talk about, referrals, right? So obviously it tends to be something we keep talking about and, gotta keep working towards getting better at. So I had the chance to actually sit down with Steve Race and Natalie Linker the other day, and we got to go through some really good stuff on referrals. So I'm really excited to share with you guys, some things that we kind of talked about, and hopefully it'll help you guys. And just kind of piggybacking off of, you know, the last time that we kind of went through everything in detail, this is just going to be more bouncing off of that. So I'll probably keep this kind of short and open it up for questions, but we'll be able to go through some good stuff. Okay. Let's get excited. It's Friday. Let's get some freaking applause here. Okay, guys. So obviously we already know why rafts are the name of the game, right? I'm never going to stop talking about them. So just get used to it. But we have to be loading up our schedule with referrals, right? Like if we go into the weekend and we don't have half of our schedule with referrals, then we need to start rolling referrals every single appointment to stack up the weekend with half referrals, right? Now, statistically, we already know that referrals have a higher closing ratio, right? So 60% of, you know, your closing ratio is going to be 60% higher than if you sit with a regular lead, right? So it's the second highest closing in the company, first being POS, second being referrals. So if we're not taking advantage of that, we're already kind of missing in one of those areas, right? Now, we already kind of went over the last time around the different ways and kind of scripts of how to get referrals, right? And again, I think biggest thing is taking advantage of those no cost benefits and just really building up the value, right? So we know the 5 areas that we can get them, but now I have some sauce for you guys today. I've been figuring out a way to add a 6th one, okay? So now we're going to add. So we already know no cost benefits, right? So where do we get our referrals? We got them at the first stop, right? Health service discount card, AIL Plus, right there, right? We should be getting, we said a minimum of 3, but you should get up to 10, right? And basically it's just building up the card and showing a lot of value, right? So that's your first stop. Now the second, we know child safe, which again should be a no-brainer for people that have kids, right? Or even people who have families or just care about humanity in general. I don't think that should be a hard, you know, referral collection there as well. But we have to ask ourselves, if we're not getting referrals in these 2 sections, again, it's kind of still in the beginning of your presentation. If we're not getting them there, we have to go back to rapport. We didn't have good enough rapport if we're not collecting referrals at these 2. They're our first 2 stops. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. Okay. So why is that so important? Because obviously, if they're not giving them to you there, they don't trust you. How do they trust you? When they buy you before the company, right? So we have to make sure that we're spending some time in rapport or we're not going to get referrals. So we have to revisit that. Okay. Now, guys, if you're doing a will kit lead, you can get referrals off of your will, like when you're going through the will, right? Even if you're not doing will kit lead, you still can do that. So that's really even another area that you could say, hey, you know, I know you mentioned your dad, you know, he lives nearby and he's, you know, getting older. You were saying he's in his late 60s now. Does your dad have a will? Collect some extra right there if you need to. If you're struggling with the other 2 areas, or maybe they didn't see, you know, so much excitement, or we didn't feel like we built enough rapport at that point, we could throw them in, you know, with the will as well. Okay. So keep that in mind, that we can get them through all those no cost benefits. Right now, of course, guys, the last one, or the last few that we all know, and we have to really get good at this, is my favorite one is contingents. Contingents should be a no-brainer to get 4 people right there. If we're coming out of if we have a sale and we have less than 4 referrals, we have to ask ourselves, like, are we just not spending the time in this, you know, like building anything up? Are we not sharing the importance? Because when the way that you approach a contingent, it should be a requirement, right? So rolling back through that, you know, when you're collecting those contingents, okay, Joe and Mary, so of course we know you guys have each other as your first and second, you know, your first beneficiaries, right? And we have Joe, we have your sister, and we have Mary, we have your brother, right? But guys, the company requires that we not only list those 2, but we also have a 3rd, 4th, and even a 5th beneficiary listed due to that $1.71 billion that did go on claims last year alone. We have to make sure we have that so we don't fall into that statistic, right? they're not going to question you on listing 2 more people there. So if we come out of a sit and we don't have, at least 4 referrals, then we have to go back to our verbiage of how we're kind of asking that. And if we're making this a requirement, right? Now, guys, contingent beneficiaries are also the easiest people to get on your schedule. I'm sure you guys have all had people at the health service discount card say that they weren't interested, right? Or maybe they refused to sit with you or whatever. They think you're just trying to sell them something. You'll have those one-off situations. Usually though, if you have a good enough connection with the person who sponsored them in, you won't have too much kickback. But with a beneficiary, again, it's a requirement. So getting them on your schedule is also a no-brainer. So we have to ask ourselves, if we're not sitting with contingents, then is our calls to the contingents, is that accurate, right? So there's certain things that we have to revisit if we're struggling in those areas, right? Now, guys, of course, then after your contingents, right, we go through and you have your VIBs, your insurance referrals, and this is key. This is key. We could talk about all the other sections a million times over, but the insurance referrals, this is where if you've done a good enough job that they want you to take care of their friends and their family and provide that same service to them, right? A lot of times you guys are going to get the same ones, right? They'll name people they've already named, but this is when you have to, again, go back to your verbiage and you're going to say, okay, guys, so of course, we're already going to take care of the people that you listed today. We'll make sure that if you're, of course, your beneficiaries, they're going to have access to these same programs as long as they could qualify, right? And honestly, Joe and Mary, I'll even go out of my way. I'll make sure that the people you listed for your health service discount card, for those as well, I'll even give them access to this program as well, just because, I want to make sure that your friends and family are taken care of, okay? So we'll make sure that they all get this, that they got access to this part of the program as well. Now, other than the people that we listed here today, who could you guys think of? Who could we brainstorm that you think would benefit from everything that we went over here today? Whether it's the actual life insurance itself, or if it's just the education alone. Who do you guys know that maybe just got married or has kids, or even maybe just got divorced, right? Or any of your buddies at work or people you bump shoulders with, who do you know that could benefit from this? And then your head down, right? Everything is assuming, but also pulling, right? Because I think if we're still struggling with referrals, guys, it's probably because we're not suggesting, right? We're not pulling. We're not pulling their arm a little bit, or we're really not having a conversation about it. How many times has someone told you, oh no, I can't think of anyone. And you're like, oh, okay. And you move on to the next thing, right? But if we have this relationship and we actually come from a place where we care about these people, we're not going to feel weird or awkward asking them for these things, right? We should never feel uncomfortable asking for referrals. So, we want to go back again to the rapport, to, suggestion, and to assuming. That's going to be big. Okay. So those areas, I feel like everyone kind of knows about those, right? We've gone over them a few times. Thumbs up with those. Okay. So now are you ready for the new fire? Yeah. Okay. So obviously we know the regular areas we touch on, right? But here's the thing. I know we kind of touched on this last time. Once the sale is complete, even if it's a no sale, that doesn't have to be your last contact with these people, right? It doesn't have to be the last time that we actually ask them for referrals. And so something kind of clicked to me, the other day, and I was like, well, why are we not calling these people back a month later to make sure that they, one, that they received their folder, right? Two, that everything looks good on our end and we have great news. Everything's looking good so far. But you know what? I was actually thinking, because I'm back in your area, who else could you think of that you think would benefit from this? I just tried this over the last 2 days, guys, with some of my trials that came through. I got 6 new referrals off of 2 people, insurance referrals. And guess what? My scout, and I'm not saying this to brag or boast, I have, I think 9 or 10 referrals on for the weekend, just for Friday, Saturday. So I'm telling you, like, this stuff works. We just have to do it, right? So again, with your thank you cards, right? We kind of went through the format last time, but we'll run back through it just one more time. When you guys send your folder, and I hope everyone's putting the picture, right? Writing a nice little note, making it personal. But with that, you know, you can put in your thank you card directly. You know, if, you know, you do, thank you, Joe and Mary, you know, whatever it is, not your thank you, but, you know, it was great, a pleasure meeting you and, you know, taking care of you. Great job putting this in place for your family and protecting them for the rest of their life. If you know, and then at the end, once you've done your little spiel, now, if you know anyone that can benefit from our programs, please don't hesitate to give me a call. The biggest compliment that I could receive is the referral of your friends and family. That's big. And they're going to feel, you know, when they read that, they're going to be like, oh, wow. Yeah, they want to take care of my family too. Doesn't seem pushy, doesn't seem salesy, just seems like you care, right? Now, and again, be generous with your business cards. They're not that expensive, right? Throw some extras. Let that, you know, even say, hey, you could give these out to your friends and family. Have them give me a call. So that's your first after the sale touch, right? Then if we implement this, you know, calling system, I think this is going to be huge. You know, give them a call, ask them if they got their folder, reassure them everything's looking good on our end. And by the way, Joe and Mary, guess what? We're actually back in the area. We had so many people we had to catch up with that they actually shipped us back for only a week. So who else do you know of your, you know, I didn't get in contact with this person you gave me. So why don't we go ahead and give them a call and I'll get them on my schedule while I'm back out here. Roll the people you didn't get in contact with, right? Because they're going to answer for them. So have them give them a call. Anyone that we didn't get, you know, I'm sure there's times we call referrals and we're not getting them on the phone, or maybe they never return our voicemail. Maybe we feel like we've exhausted the referral, so we don't revisit that. But are we actually reaching back out to, you know, our member, to our policyholder, saying, hey, I couldn't get in contact with your beneficiary, and it's super important that we go over this information. Go ahead and give them a call and have them call me. I'm available today, and give them a time frame, right? Make this important, that this is a requirement that we have to sit down with them. I promise you, they're going to give you a call, right? Especially if they're a beneficiary. If these people feel that they're responsible for someone else's, you know, the process, if someone else were to die, they're going to give you a call if they get a call from their friend saying, hey, I really need you to take care of this. So it's building that importance. Okay. But I think that, you know, going back to that is going to be really big. Now, guys, I think another thing that, you know, I know we're not doing, because I don't see it on everyone's pictures, but it's rolling referrals, right? Can I get a show of hands? And I'm just curious. How many people are actually attempting to roll referrals in every single sit? Okay, just a few, right? And hey, listen, I haven't done it every single sit, but the only thing we can do to get better is to try, right? To try to implement it. Have it be part of your script. Have it be part of, you know, like, don't take it out. Don't rush to the next member, because you might be rushing to the next person who could be a no sale, jump off your Zoom, right? Or have a situation. Love the one you're with. If you just had a really, you know, great connection with someone, why wouldn't we spend the extra 5 minutes to roll those people? Because if they're great, I guarantee you, their friends and their family probably also great. You are who you hang out with, right? So why are we jumping to the next person? So we have to spend the time and really make this like a requirement. Like, it all starts with, with the leadership. We have to implement this, right, for our team. But then also, I'm sure a lot of you guys, you probably all want to be in leadership if you're not already, right? So you guys implementing this now will make it easier for you to teach your people, right? You got to think for the position you want, not the position you're in. So start implementing this now, and it's going to change your deal. So when we roll contingents, right? Does anyone not know the rolling contingent script? No. Matt? Okay. So when we go to roll contingents after we've already collected them, right? And we kind of just went through this. So you have Joe and Mary, right? And then you have, they list maybe each other, they list their other three. Okay, guys. So now, that we have, all of your beneficiaries here. What the company actually requires us to do is we're actually going to have you give them a call. Because here's the thing, Joe and Mary, I love my job. I do. But the part I don't love is, when I try to give your beneficiaries a call and I can't get them on the phone. Because here's the thing, I have a Jersey number. People don't answer me. They think I'm a telemarketer or a scammer, right? So it's going to be a lot easier for us to get a hold of them if you just give them a call. So go ahead and give them a call. And go ahead and put them on speakerphone. And I'm going to make sure that we actually get them onto my schedule so that we can go through and get them out the beneficiary information that's needed. Okay, so go ahead and give them a call, put it on speaker. I'll take over when they answer. Now, the only kickback is if they're on the phone for Zoom, right? Which is why we don't really want them doing it. If that's the case, have them send a text. You send them a text and have them send it to their people. And don't have them put them in a group chat. People like being exclusive. They don't want a text with the 5 people in the chat saying they're all beneficiaries, right? So have them send an individual text if that's the case. But there should be no reason why we go to call any type of referral and they're not expecting our call. If they're not expecting our call, we need to revisit how we're approaching referrals, right? At the end of each time that you collect a referral, you should be dropping like, hey, okay, so make sure, right, that we give them a call and that you let them know Christina with American Income is going to be giving them a call in the next 2 days here, right? Because I have to get them on my schedule while we're still in the area. So make sure you let them know that a 732 number is going to be calling them and that you set them up with this card. Right? That's the first part. So going back to contingents, right? Once you get them on the phone, then it's like booking, regular set. Okay, so they answer the phone, right? You're on speaker, on Zoom. It's all great and dandy. And now you're just kind of going right into booking them. Oh, hey, Veronica. Yep. Hi, Veronica. This is Christina with American Income. I'm actually sitting here with Joe and Mary. We're actually going over some of their union benefits for the Teamsters here. And more or less, we were giving you a call because Joe, he actually listed you as a beneficiary on his life insurance policy through the Teamsters. Now, Veronica, we just have to make sure that you actually accept the role and responsibility of being a beneficiary. Do you accept? Okay, great. So now that you accept the role, what we have to do, Veronica, is get you and your husband, Richard, we have to get you guys onto my schedule here so we can go over all the proper paperwork that you would need. God forbid something happened to Joe. So we'll get you out the proof of death forms, the claims forms, all the proper paperwork that you would need here, okay? Okay, great. So, we would do this in person, but just like we're doing today, we're going to do this over Zoom, right? You go through the whole spiel. It's the same exact phone script. Now, the only thing that's different, guys, at the very, very end, you're going to kind of name drop there, or not name drop, but you're going to drop in that they get access to the same benefits. Now, Veronica, the great thing about being a beneficiary is you actually get access to the same exact union benefits as Joe and Mary took part in today. Now, the thing is, you actually do have to qualify for the permanent insurance benefits, and we don't know if you could, but we'll be able to handle all that in the meeting, okay? So they already know, that you're going to be touching on that. Because I'm sure we've all had situations with beneficiaries where they're like, well, I thought I was just accepting the role and going through the paperwork, right? They almost get a little defensive that you're now talking about insurance. So we have to make sure that we kind of set the tone, and that all starts on the phone. Okay. Now those are like the regular ways for referrals, guys. We all know that. Now I know like sometimes maybe we sit down with a referral and we're struggling to collect referrals off of a referral. Anyone having that problem? I know it's happened to me, right? Yeah. So now, again, we want to think about it this way. So why are we struggling to collect referrals off referrals? It all comes with value, right? Exclusivity and value. So the biggest thing is we want them, when we first sit with a referral, we want to make sure that we're telling them to thank the person who even got them into the program, right? Doesn't matter the type of referral. It could be a child safe. It could be a will. It could be it literally doesn't matter what you're sitting down with them for. It could be a beneficiary. Either way, and your why we're there, you need to be building that importance, exclusivity. Guys, you would actually have to be in a group or a union to even be able to have access to any of these programs. So make sure that you thank Joe and Mary for actually listing you guys here today. They actually pay union dues. You guys don't pay union dues, right? Oh, wow. Yeah. They pay thousands of dollars of union dues a year. Yeah. So they actually pay union dues. You guys don't even have to do any of that. So maybe send them some flowers, right? I even throw in some jokes like, you want them to think that this is so exclusive. They would never have access to this if their good old friends, Joe and Mary, didn't put their name down. So it all starts with that, right? It all starts with building that exclusivity in the very beginning. And then through your referral, right? Through your referral set, now you guys have probably built a better connection than you even started out having with Joe and Mary, because you already had common ground, right? So your rapport should be fire with referrals. You have so many topics you can bounce off of, right? It's almost like more casual. They already have a little bit of trust because their friends are the ones who, connected you guys. So now when you actually go through like the benefits and collecting the referrals, it's going to be the same spiel, right? It's the same script. But now the only thing that I change is, say I'm doing like health service discount card, for example. Okay. So what I'll go into is, the discounts were not always this high, right? They started at more like 10%, then they went up to 20%. Now they're all the way up to that 85% off in some areas, right? And basically how we do that is we just get more of our members and their families and friends actually using the card, right? The more people that use the card, the more locations that'll work with us. And actually the higher the discount that they'll give us. And that just comes back to that union buying power. Now, just like Joe and Mary were able to do for you and get you sponsored into this program, the amazing thing is you guys are actually going to have access to give out up to only 10 of these cards as well. And honestly, guys, they've never done this before. It's just kind of like a give back during the pandemic here. We want to make sure we get this card out to as many people as possible to give them extra savings during this hard time. So just like Joe and Mary did for you, you guys have access to give this out. Now, the great thing is, just like you guys, they don't have to be in a group or a union. One card is going to cover their entire household. And again, guys, it's no cost to you, no cost to them. So I know you said you have a super big family as well. Now, Veronica, Richard, who did you guys want to start with for your first health service discount card? You want to put your brothers, your sisters, the kids? Who did you guys want to put first? right? And if we're building it up enough that like, hey, this is really exclusive, you guys got this opportunity. We are actually giving this out to other people, just the same way we kind of say with Child Safe is like blanketing the community, right? Creating like that safety net. It's almost like the same thing with health service discount card, getting this out to as many people. It kind of benefits us. It increases our discounts, right? It helps our union members because everyone wants to know like, okay, what's in it for you, right? If something seems too good to be true, they're not going to believe it. They'll be like, okay, so why, So if you kind of make it like, hey, it helps you guys, but it also really helps us get those discounts higher, they're not even going to question. Now, if you have like the only thing is that's a little bit different. Obviously, if you have a union no sale, you should still be collecting contingents, right? Because you have that no cost insurance card. No reason we can't get contingents there. If you have a different kind of lead and it's a no sale, then still just bank on the insurance referrals at the end. And same thing for, if you have like a referral no sale, right? Obviously you'll get it through like the no cost benefits, but if you get to the very end and maybe, they couldn't qualify or I don't know, maybe you just couldn't close them down or whatever it might've been, don't feel like I still add VIBs. I will still add VIBs, even if it's a no sale, because you want to end it on a really positive note with these people, right? So you want to still see what they saw value in the program. If maybe this didn't work for them, but who do you think, this could benefit from this? Just like your friends, Joe and Mary, were able to get you guys into this, you can actually sponsor people in. Again, that's the only way your friends or family will have access to our union negotiated rate, 25 to 30% cheaper than any other insurance company, right? So everything's about building that value. Does that help at all with the referral sits? Yeah? Okay. Now guys, obviously, the biggest thing too, is just like using your referrals wisely, right? We don't want to burn any bridges with referrals. And we want to try to keep on that referral train as long as possible. If you get like, one person with a big family and you start running off of that and that and that, you'll know the whole family by like the third day that you're doing sits, right? And it just makes it that much easier to build credibility, to build rapport, to get more referrals off of these people, right? And if you find them giving the same people to you, the same referrals, because that will happen, right? Maybe for contingents, they put the same people because they're all the same family. Then you really want to start focusing on some of those like insurance refs and like finding areas where maybe we're lacking and better ways to kind of ask those questions. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to touch on, guys, and something that they went over is the important, this was all from Steve Cerise and Natalie Linker, is we have to be logging our referrals in our e-app at the end of the night. Okay. Even if you're not doing it during the presentation, we need to start doing it either whether it's first thing in the morning or last thing at night. We need to start putting our referrals into e-app. Now, I'll be first to admit it, I was not doing this. Does everyone know how to actually do this? Raise your hand if not. No. Okay. So in e-app, at the very top, there's going to be, it might either say sponsors or referrals. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't have it up here, but there's going to be like on the very top where it has like, file and all that. I think it has sponsors or referrals, and you click that and it'll have like a section for referrals, and you can literally put it per person, and you could put them into the system there, and you'll submit per person that gave you the referral. Okay. You could put the type of referral that it is. You can put, their name, their number, if they have a spouse, the city. And the great thing with this, guys, is because we're also associated with Globe, as we all know, when we submit this, it actually runs their name through the system. And if they have if they had a policy with Globe or us at some point or anything, or if they, we'd ever sat with them, if they're in a union, any of that, it'll actually get all their information. It could pull additional phone numbers for them. It could pull their address. It could pull if they have combined people like that. Maybe they don't have a policy, but in their address, they have people in their household that are actually already affiliated with us, right? It's going to sync all of that information and make our job a whole lot easier. And it'll make your call log accurate. Because how many times, I'm sure you've seen your call log once or twice if you're not using it, and you're like, well, I call a lot of referrals, but your call log isn't showing that, right? We have to be using the systems that are put in place for us. So make sure that we are logging our referrals, whether it's in the morning or the night. You guys could talk to your managers and figure out, how they want you to do it, if they want you to do it during the sit. I personally like doing all of my numbers at the end of the night, right? That's my preference. But I'll let your managers be the judge on when they want you guys doing that. But make sure it's in there. And then now, you're actually able to put, if you set an appointment with them, they're in your impact, right? You can put, if you had a sale with them, it'll actually show right then and there their name and everything, right? It's going to be a lot easier for not only your managers to kind of be able to accurately track, like your calls and your ratios and your percent and all of that. But also it's going to be easier for you guys because it's going to pull information out of the system. Okay. And if you guys have any questions on how to do that, you can, go to your direct manager with our guys like Matt and stuff. I'll go over that with you guys. Okay. But yeah, honestly, guys, I didn't know I was doing this. I didn't have a whole lot prepared for you. That was like the main things that they kind of went over is the different areas, kind of how they just kind of wanted to pick our brain of how, I was kind of collecting them and selling them and things of that sort. And the real big thing that I took away from that meeting was really just like logging those referrals and using what we have here. Guys, we are so lucky. And I just have to reiterate this. We are so, so lucky to have Tommy. I don't think you guys know. The people who went to Cancun know, but every single person in this company speaks so highly about him and his ability to, run referrals the way he did and recruiting and everything else. And I just think we have to, have some appreciation that we have like the best of the best at our fingertips. So if we're struggling, go to your managers about this or go to, I know even Tommy's great with, helping people and things of that sort too. Like we have like the best of the best and we have to really take advantage. So if we're struggling, please reach out to your managers, get help and referrals because it's going to change your game. Okay. Questions?
Christine, I got a couple for you. I just want to start because it's on my mind. One, can I see, could you text me that text message that you text the beneficiaries? Could I see how you do that?
Yeah.
Perfect. And then I was having trouble whenever I plug in my referrals at the end in the referrals on the e-app, it's mandatory before you submit it to have a city and address, location where they're at. And I was just putting the address because I didn't think I'd ask that. I just wanted the phone number and name and how they were affiliated with them. But whenever you plug that in, I would plug in the same address as the person who referred them. And then when it went in my impact, it would put both of them together. And I had to resolve one. And I couldn't find it. So instead of putting the same address as the person who referred them, do you try and get the exact address where the referral's at? Or do you just basically make one up because you want to submit it and you know what I mean?
Yeah, good question. So, like I said, I was actually not using this. I had a Google Doc for all of this. I just kind of started implementing this 2 days ago with the e-app. That's on me. That's my bad. But you only have to put the city and the state. So when you're asking for your referrals, we ask for their name and number, right? So all you have to add is, okay, and are they in Chicago too?
Okay.
Right? And then just get their city and state. You don't have to get the full address and you don't have to get their date of birth. All you actually need to submit the referrals on e-app is going to be their name, their phone number, the relationship to that person, and the city and state. So it's really only adding the city, because I'm sure you guys have also gotten, some situations where they want to give you their brother in Alabama, right? Or something like that. So of course, you want to kind of know those things, right? Because if we're not licensed in Alabama, probably not, kind of take that in consideration as well. So you just add it to what you're asking. Okay, great. So you have your brother, Philip. Okay, great. Philip's last name. Okay, and is Philip married or have a girlfriend or anything like that? I got the spouse's name right then and there. Okay, great. Now where's Philip and Josie live? Chicago? Oh, nice. Okay, great. Yeah, so you guys must go to a lot of those Cubs games, right? Your big Cubs fans, whatever. Like build rapport on them. And like also when you get the referrals, don't feel like you have to move on so quickly. Like you can actually get some information on these people just while you're talking so that when you go to call these people, you have rapport building questions in your phone call.
Right. Perfect. Thank you. And then last question. I've been waiting for my discount card 3 times, right? I made fake applications for me. I deleted them just so it could send to me. I gave 2 different emails. I'm checking my spams. It's been like a week because I want to show them the app. I want to show them that you can open it to build the importance. And I don't know why, but the discount card isn't coming to me. And I gave my emails. I've done multiple. Can I call home office just to send me a member ID directly? Do you know?
Well, I love these questions, but I don't know. I have a oh, there we go. Marvy's got the answer.
Marv, you're muted. Thanks, Chris. I just didn't know.
I have a policy, so I don't know. I got one automatically just because, you know, your girl signed up for some life insurance.
Hey, May, so I actually just ran into that today. And so what I did, there's an email that you get, and then there's a number that you can call AIL Plus for customer service. You call them and then you just tell them, hey, I enrolled a member. They haven't received their card yet. And then they're going to verify their info. They'll be like, okay, what's their first and last name? And then what's their email address? And then they'll tell you, yeah, so we sent out the link this day. Or sometimes they'll tell you, oh, it looks like they haven't been sent out yet. So we'll make sure to get that done today. And then they're like, they should be expecting that email at the end of the day today. And sometimes if it's already in the system, they'll give you your member ID and your group ID. If you give them, oh, my name is Mace, my email address is this, they'll be like, yeah, so your member ID is this and your group ID is that. Over the
Where's that number at?
I can send you the picture. It's like AIL Plus customer service. It's like the email.
Send me a picture when you get that.
Yeah, bro, I got you.
Thanks, brother.
Would you mind sending that to me as well, please? I haven't gotten my AIL Plus either. Well, thank you.
If you guys call home office, there's actually a department for the AIL Plus program as well. So that number on the Freedom of Choice certificate, you can call that number and get a hold of the AIL Plus program, and then they'll be able to, directly talk to you from there too. So
cool.
Yeah, also Mason, I don't know if you remember a couple months ago, there's like a link that you can manually put people's information in, and you already have, obviously you have their email and everything. And I know that if people haven't received it, you can actually put it in on your own without having to go into eApp and making a fake one. And then every time that I've done that, it's been successful. I've sent that around to a lot of people. I could post it in the group chat or something. Literally, it's just it's directly for the AIL Plus card, and you just put their name, number, email, and whatnot. And then they get it basically right away, like Marvin said. And then you don't have to call home office and stuff. So I would try that first, honestly, because you can do that on your own. And then maybe if that doesn't work, then you can call and everything. I just think it's a little quicker.
Thank you, Faith.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Question, Christina.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing? You probably know, or whoever knows this. So once going back to Impact and putting our referrals in, do you know if we get reshuffled and then it goes out to everyone, or does that stay with you?
It stays with you, which is awesome.
Okay.
So the other thing, guys, is I forgot to mention this too, is you're already generating more leads in your pack, right? Because I'm sure there's been situations where maybe you had it on paper, you lost your paper, now you're like, oh no, I just lost all these referrals, right? So it just keeps it permanent in there. And then it's also a good way, it'll stay in your pack. So maybe you didn't have some success getting in touch with them this first month. You could revisit it a month later, right? And it's already in there, and you'll see all the times that you called them, and now it's tracked. Rather than, oh, well, I think I've called them 4 times. No, exactly when you called them, when you left a message, you can write notes right there. So it's going to be really efficient and effective.
Thank you.
Christina, for when you're collecting the contingents on the accidental policy, are you doing that before you even go through the insurance, or is that like last thing, whether it's a no sale or no sale, last thing is the beneficiaries on the AD&D and then tell them to call them? Are you doing that first?
Yeah, so good question. So I don't bring up the AD&D certificate until like I don't bring that up until all the way at the very, 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 very end if it's a no sale, right? Because if it's a sale, then they already have the insurance. You've already touched on that they have the accidental, but now they have permanent coverage. So I don't really dwell on it too much. If it's a no sale, then I'm like, okay, guys, no problem. Sorry, we couldn't, make this work for you guys today. But here's the thing. We still do have that $4,000 member and retiree accidental death and dismemberment benefit. So let me pull this up real quick. And then I share my screen, right? And I go through it with them. I explain how that all works. And then I say, so of course, we know that you already listed Mary as your beneficiary here. And then I do the same thing. So, but due to that $1.71 billion of life insurance that went unclaimed last year alone, we do have to list not only Mary, but also a second, third, and fourth beneficiary for this small accidental death. God forbid something happened to both you and Mary. We have to make sure someone else is there to actually collect this, right? And it's the same thing. Yeah.
So that you're doing that after term and whole, after presenting options, however you guys do it.
Yep.
All the way
Like
through.
that's if I went back and forth in the close for like 30 minutes and it's a no sale and I just couldn't turn them. Then at that point, then, and I'm not saying 30 minutes should be your time limit, guys. You can go as long as you want. Don't take that so literal. But let's just say like it just wasn't going through, right? It was just they're not now getting like, oh, absolutely not. It's not happening today. Then that's my last thing that I bring up if it's a union. Okay, I understand. So let's go ahead. Of course, we still have that $4,000 member and retiree, right? So it's a very, 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 very end. That would be like going in the close. It's no sale. Pull that up. Kind of like get the mood going good again. Of okay, well at least we do have this in place for your if something were to happen, you explain it and then get the bennies. And then after you even get those bennies, then I still go through VIBs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have another question, Christina. So going back to like the referrals and putting them into EAP, I have a lot of referrals that are from like a few months ago, maybe a few weeks ago. Is there a way that you would go about calling those? Or like, I know it's like referrals are best to call when they're hot, but like if you haven't got in contact with them and you're trying to put them into impact, and then like, have you done that where you call a referral from like months ago, and like, how does that process work for you?
That's a really, really good question, because I think sometimes it's like we give ourselves a time limit, right? I'm like, oh, well, now we saw it so long ago. I just make it seem like, hey, like, I know we tried getting to you when we were here. And the thing was, our schedules, it seemed like your schedule was so crazy and, we weren't able to connect there. And then I go back but they actually have us back out in the area because we had so many people we still had to catch up with. And so, now that I'm here, it's super important that we actually get you taken care of this week while I am in the area. And I just revisit it that way. But I'll say like, oh, you know what? Or like, are you talking about like it's the first time you've ever made contact with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say, oh, actually, I sat down with your brother, your sister about a month ago. I know it's a little bit of time has passed there, but did they let you know I'd be calling you in regards to the health service discount card? Or whatever it is, right? Or, oh, but you know what? When I was able to sit down with them to go over their union benefits, actually, they listed you as a beneficiary on their life insurance policy. And so, it's been absolute madness. We've been servicing thousands of members in the last few weeks here. But I finally had a second to give you a call. I wanted to make sure we got you taken care of. Like, again, it's just busy, important control. And I think that if you do that, there's no issue. Like, oh, so sorry, it's taken me so long. Meanwhile, they were dodging you for a month.
Hi, Christina.
Hey.
Can I just ask you, let's say you get a little pushback on your first go around for what discount card, whatever it is that you're asking for, and you have to re-report, right? You got to re-up on report. It's not enough for us to get the numbers. Well, I guess, are you looking for a verbal or nonverbal? Like, what's your heuristic, that you use that you're like, okay, I've done enough rebuilding report and move on now? Like, what would you do for that?
My cue is honestly like I just like throw a lot of jokes in there. I'm not really that funny, but somehow
Oh, that's not true.
I don't think I'm that funny, but somehow like I mean Gina's seen my sets a few times. Like people just I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta have fun. I think if you just have fun with them, eventually they're gonna lighten up and they're gonna want to give you people. Right. But if you got to have fun with them, you have to let them trust you. Now, if someone says like, well, I'm not giving you any of their information, I need to call them first. I love that. Right. I'm like, yep, I completely understand. My brother, he'd kick my butt if I gave his phone number out. So why don't we do this? Because, we still have a lot to go through. Go ahead and the people that you're thinking of getting this card out to, shoot them a quick text, seeing if that's okay. Because I would have to make sure that I had them taken care of today, right? That we got all that situated. Because like you saw, we have to put them into the system here, right? So go ahead. Why don't you shoot them a text? So by the time that we finish up today, I'm sure a few people will say yes, right? And you just kind of assume it. I just make everything seem like, oh, no problem. Like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I got a question for you real quick.
Hi.
Just to clarify, because I think a couple terms have been thrown out. I was always told that on eApp, if we put in referrals in there, then they get scrambled up and they don't stay with us. Are you saying that we put our referrals in on Just Impact and bypass the whole eApp referral page? Or do we put them in on eApp as well?
So you put them in on eApp, not Impact. It's going to be on eApp, and they do not get scrambled. They stay with you.
Okay.
They'll never get taken out of your pack because a referral lead just stays in there. All the other leads, they'll shuffle when we got new lead packs. Your referrals are always going to stay in there. I don't think anyone's had issues with that before, correct?
So is anybody putting in referrals on the add lead button on Impact?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I've done a couple, I've done them both, but I thought we can do both, but the eApp, it's easier and it kind of does what you said, Christina. It pulls their address, but Impact doesn't do that.
I think if you guys want it to be the most accurate, to go through the system, to like help you guys the most, just do it on an eApp, right? You can do it either way. But what I was kind of told from Steve Surace and Natalie was, hey, just do it on eApp. It filters through the system. It's going to help you guys a lot. So if they tell me to do that, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. Because like at first you said eApp and then it was Impact and there was, so.
Honestly, that's just me probably just messing up my words.
All right. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah. So eApp.
Kind of just to like go off on that, I feel like if you put it on Impact, it's going to be easier for you to call them compared to like going into eApp and like looking up your referrals, right? Like if you put it into your Impact, then it'll show up as a lead that you can call and like.
So your eApp actually, like when you go to update your software, it puts them into Impact. That's why I was saying Impact. So you put them in on eApp, it filters through the system when you update your software, and it automatically puts them into your Impact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's sorry, that's probably why it got a little confusing. It automatically transfers them over, but by putting them in eApp, it goes through like the whole system there.
Gotcha. Okay, nice.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? No? All right, guys. Well, it's been lovely. Sorry this one was a little bit shorter. Hope you guys got some fire. And of course, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christina.
Adios.
Christina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you, Christina. Get it.
Thanks, girl.
Bye. Have a killer day.
I think we're out of
So,
the
she gave you
actual
kickback?
documents.
kickbacks.
You know why?
Just like from the.
You asked.
Yeah,
You have more
I was
service
just showing it
on
on
the
the computer.
Like, you want to take control.
And then be like.